Hello, everyone. I am Will, and welcome back to my playthrough of Elden Ring. Um, Last we left off, we finished up the Hinterlands. Yep, actually, we went into the Hinterlands. Started at the Hinterlands Grace. Actually, just pull it up. Yeah, we started at this Grace here. I think we had to go this way, or we encounter the two tree sentinels. Are they called? It was a tree knight. No, I think they're tree sentinels. Yeah, one was up here, hidden behind like a ledge. He like jumps out as you get across. He has a torch on his offhand instead of a shield. And there's one down here, kind of patrolling back and forth, who does have a shield. So we dispatched the torch wielding one by ourselves, and then we ended up summoning Knight Yulan and I think Fire Knight Hild. Yeah, Yulan's the NPC. Hild is our Spirit Ash. And then we ganged up on the other tree sentinel and took him out pretty well. Yeah, I think they both dropped a Blessing of America, so I think we have a few of those just chilling in our inventory. Yeah, you can only carry one at a time, but we have three more in our stashed away at the Grace. So we should be good for a while. And after that, we continued on where. I should just bring this up again. Yeah, continued on. I think we went this way where we fought a falling star beast. Yeah. I did die to it kind of carelessly. He's not too bad. I mean, he's like any other fallen star beast, so use your elementals to take him down, because I think he's more resistant to physical than to elemental. So just avoid the charge, avoid the gravity spikes, and you should be good. He drops the gravitational missile sorcery, which is a very good gravitational spell if you're going to do a sorcerer build. Yep. It pulls in enemies around it, explodes. If you're aiming at the ground, it explodes right away. So it's really good. And after that, we continued on where we found a whole bunch of finger creepers and lampreys. Most of the lampreys were asleep, but there was a whole bunch of finger creepers just patrolling around, like just what's the direction? Like south of the Grace, south of the next Grace, like right here in this little area here. There's two big ones and probably a dozen or so of the little ones just kind of patrolling back and forth, back and forth. So at that point, I decided to try to avoid as much fighting as I could, because otherwise we'd have been here for a couple hours, just fighting them all. But so I did find some shadow runes. We found the two fingers gesture. What else we found? Found the other remembrance coffin right about here. I think the two fingers gesture was here. So, or was it there? Yeah, it was here. It was about here. Continued on. I think it was this way. I'm trying to get my bearings. I think it was like a route about here. Was a drop down into a cave that had the finger creeper spirit ash, as well as a colossal finger creeper. So yeah, there is a colossal finger creeper up there. Luckily, it's in a cave that you can run by. Kind of, you drop down into it, you sprint toward the exit, activate the finger creeper along the way, and then you just kind of chip at it from a relative safe position. It is big enough to hit you into the little passage, but you should be okay if you just kind of come in, attack, back away, and in, attack, back away. So we took care of him. That popped us out about here, I think, where we then entered the finger ruins of Hideo. Yeah. Just like the other finger ruins in the Cerulean coast, it's mostly empty. I mean, This one has a whole bunch of lampreys just kind of scattered about. Two of them, I think they're around here, like in this little area. That launches a pink projectile that if it hits you, you get like stunned. Yeah, you're stunned, and it opens you up to being grabbed by the other lampreys. It's a nightmare trying to get through it normally. So he ended up deciding to use Assassin's Gambit and just, again, stealth past enemies to avoid fights. Yeah, it was one of those avoid the fight kind of episodes. So made our way to the heart of the ruins, rung the whistle bell thing, got the Cerulean Sea talisman +1. Then we went back to the Cathedral of Metyr. No, actually we went back to the Hinterlands Grace. Checked out the shaman village. Found, America's little home, where she had a minor retreat incantation and the gold braid talisman. Gold braid is really good. It's, your holy Halleck Drake talisman +3, basically, but it's basically America's hair. That's basically what the item description says. It's her hair that she left at the village to the grandmother. So now we're carrying around a piece of America. And the minor retreat incantation, which is meh. If it healed over a bigger area, it would be good, but it's as it is right now, it's not good. I mean, it's okay. Although I think it takes two spell slots. Yeah. No thanks. If it was just one spell slot in its current form, then yeah, I'd probably consider using it here and there, but as is right now, no. It does do a good heal over a good amount of time. It's just the area is just too small. It's just too small. So, and then from America's Village, we dropped down to Rabith's Rise at the top level. Found the puppet of Anna, Yolan's sister, as well as, I'm assuming, Rabith, or at least his remains. So on the remains was his bell bearing. So I'm assuming it was him. So, actually, do I still have it? Do I still have his bell bearing? It's probably down here. Yep, I still have him. Spell Machinist Rabith. Yep. This is what we got at the top of the tower. So, yep. And then after that, we went back to the Cathedral of Metyr, talked to Ymir. He gave us another map. Talked to Yolan. She was like, "Hey, you're actually comrade now." And then after that, we went underneath the cathedral, past Ymir's chair, to the third finger ruins of, I think it was the finger ruins of Metyr. Of Metyr. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it, but down there we were invaded by Sword Hand of Knights Anna, who is a puppet. And so at that point I went back to Yolan. She had some dialogue, but it's kind of like a denial kind of dialogue. It's like, no, I only have one master, blah, blah, blah. So, yep. And at that point we continued forward, rung the bell down there, got teleported to the arena for Metyr, Mother of Fingers, where we summoned Ornis, took out our Uchi Katana, and just, try to stance, break, and bleed. Stance, break, and bleed. Yeah. She didn't give us too much trouble. Not the best fight, but I think it did pretty well. Killed her quick enough for her to not use her little laser beam attack, so that's good. And then we got her remembrance, went back to the cathedral, where we examined his chair again, but this time we were invaded by Sword Hand of Knights Yolan. We quickly dispatched her with the Hand Millennia, and then we took on Count Ymir himself, where again we took care of him with the Hand of Millennia and the Bear Roar, just because. And I think that was it. Yep, that's all we did last episode. Quite a bit. It was a big episode last time. Yeah, I just try to finish it. I could have done it in 2 different episodes, but whatever. C'est la vie. And between episodes, I didn't really do much. I did farm for some more furnace visages. I think for some more crafting materials. I upgraded the sword of knights. Yeah, the sword of knight, which we got from Yulan after we beat Ymir. You go to Yulan. You can either give her an iris of grace to get her spirit ash, which you can take to the puppet of Anna to get the puppet or the spirit ash of Yulan and Anna. So, but we didn't do that. Instead, we gave her the other option, which is the iris of occultation, which gave us her weapon, the sword of knight. A really cool looking katana. So, kind of reminds me of the flayed blade from Dark Souls 3. The katana you get from Metyr's soul. That's what it reminds me of, at least look-wise. So, yep, upgraded that. Farms with some crafting materials, and I think that was it. I think that's all I did. And then for today, we're going to head down. We'll start here in the lower part of the Altus Plateau. Yeah, there's ruins here. There's at least 2 furnace golems we're going to be fighting. One's already active, like over here somewhere. Actually, like right over there. One of those guys is going to wake up. And the other one is right there. He's currently inactive, so we have to wake him up to get inside. So, yeah, we're going to be fighting at least 2 furnace golems. We'll explore this little ruins, and then we'll head south. I think it's... yeah, head south this way. Yeah. Head down. We'll take on the Nameless Mausoleum, the last one, over here to fight Rakshasa. So, there's some grave birds, there's some fly people. And then once we get about here, we'll drop down to this little area here and take on 2 hippos. They should drop shadow fragments, so hopefully by the end of the episode we'll be shadow level 16, I hope. But we'll see. Then after that, we'll come back up and go on this way. There is a village tucked in this little crevice here. And then we'll head, and then it will lead us down this way to this little area, which will be the entrance to the Dark Light Catacombs, which should be right about here somewhere. Yep. And then after that, we'll go into the catacombs and then down into the Abyssal Woods. Oh, yeah. Well, probably won't be doing the catacombs this episode. I'll try to do as much as I can to get to it, but the catacombs will probably be its own little episode because it's pretty big. So, well, at least if you go through all the nooks and crannies, it's pretty big. But if you just beeline it, it's not that long. But I do plan to go through all the nooks and crannies. Yep, like a good English muffin. All right. And our equipment for today. Start off with the Sword of Knight +9. I've actually never used it before, so I'm curious to see how well it does. This will change it out. I will change to the mace when we fight the furnace golems, and then I'll probably change it out again to the halo scythe when I fight those grave birds. So, it's easier to fight grave birds with the range attacks. So, and I find the Ash of War on the halo scythe probably the best way to deal with them. So that's the plan for that. But Sword Knights will probably be our main weapon. Bow, seal, mesmer shield, my little Gravebird get up, Black Knife hood, Gravebird armor, maiden gloves, and Greaves of Solitude. Yep. Bulgo talisman, so I have at least 51 effective poise. Rotten Wing sword, because I will be swinging a lot. In fact, the R2 of the Knights, Sword of Knights, is a double hit. So this should be up most of the time when I'm fighting. Godfrey icon, because we'd be using quite a number of chargeable spells, and the Ash of War on this can be charged, so I think this is probably useful. Bless blue dude because it's good. Green bursting hearts here. Got some furnace pots, particularly for the furnace golems, because once you repost their face, it's enough time to run to the side and throw one into their heads to do another chunk of damage. So hopefully that will speed up the fighting a bit. Crabs and Ornus, though I might change him out. Who knows? But for now, it's Ornus. Here's stats. Should be pretty much the same as last time. Spells for today. Got the Fire Serpent, Knight's Lightning Spear. I'm going to try out the aspects of the Crucible Thorns, where you kind of like roll around and shoot spines everywhere. I'm going to give that a try. May not be very good, but it might be fun. Pest Threads, Aeonia, Vow and Heal. And I will activate Rykard's Rune here in a moment, so looking pretty good. Alright. Let me activate this. And let me change this out, because I will be fighting the Furnace Golem out here first. Definitely best to take care of this Furnace Golem first. Alright. Let's get going. Furnace Visage. There's quite a number of broken Furnace Golems. One of these gets up. Don't quite remember which one. Yeah, there's a lot of Furnace Visages. Actually, I think it's him. I gotta remember my controls. I think he gets up. I think it's him. So, actually, let's put on the little sword lance, because I will be fighting on horseback. Alright, so before we collect any more items, let's go take care of this Furnace Golem. I think they have separate stance pools, but I think they might. Let's go back over here and work on him. Back. Thank you. You should fall. Of course. Smack him once or twice. Riposte, and we'll quickly run to the side and throw. Oh, almost got him. He's almost dead. There we go. We get oil-soaked tear and another Furnace Visage. Yeah, the oil-soaked tear soaks nearby enemies in oil, allowing you to do, I think it's a 50% extra damage for the next next fire damage. Although I think I remember looking it up, and it's actually a 50% damage negation decrease against fire on your enemies. So their enemy will have like a 50% debuff to their fire or damage negation. I think that's how they implemented it. So, which comes out to about the same. So, alright. Don't think there's another one just lying about. I think the only other one's the one we have to wake up. So let's just go check. You're not gonna get up, are you? Oh, you're broken. Okay. Ruins of... I think it's how you pronounce it. Unts. Man, Torrent, you're like a bull in a china shop. Mesmer Flames. You know, all these... excuse me. All these furnace visages and those Mesmer Flames are there. Just, you know, make sure you have at least one hefty furnace pot you can make. Ooh. Uh-huh. Beard Spear Dash. Nice. Well, I think at this point we need 4 to upgrade our Spear Dash level. Pretty sure that's too high for you to jump into. Yeah, I think that's too high. Shadow people. I'll leave you guys alone. As long as you don't get up, I'm gonna leave you alone. I think we have to go up that way. We have to go up that way, okay. So yeah. Furnace Golem, he's kind of out of commission. Let me check if it's over here. I think I already got this. Yeah, okay. Didn't want to skip on a Furnace Visage. So now that I know there's a respawning or a farmable place for it, it's actually not that bad. Free money is free. Alright, so now we gotta get up to a higher level. There's Visage. Gonna leave you guys alone. Just turn this on real quick. I don't think it helps, but makes me feel better. Sure, why not? Three smithing 8s. We'll take it. Oh, whew, okay. I thought I slid off there for a second. Alright. This guy should be a pain in the butt. The main reason he's going to be a pain is because he's how close he is to the ruins. Because the best way to fight these guys is kind of circle around, but with the ruins to his back, it's going to be be a little bit tricky. Alright. So factor in a drink and vow. Wakey, wakey. Right under him, so I wasn't sure if I was going to get out of there in time. Okay, I need you to turn this way, please. I don't want you falling into that. Oh, ow. Nice, good. Run to the side. Oh, I missed. Crap. Can't believe I missed. Get away. Torrent, you almost got us killed. If I didn't miss, we wouldn't be doing this. Quick stagger. We gotta jump. Jump again. Throw away. Underneath him. Oh. Torrents. Come on, just die. Alright, good. Thank you. Blood-sucking Metyr and the furnace visage. That went on longer than necessary. There you go, Torrent. If I hadn't missed my stupid furnace pot throw, he would have been dead. So anyway. The blood-sucking Metyr increases our at least physical damage. I don't know if it increases all damage, but I know it increases at least physical damage by, I want to say, 20%. But it does drain HP. And I believe it's a 1% HP drain for 3 minutes. You heard that right. That thing can kill you 3 times over if you're not careful. So it is powerful, but it is dangerous. So use with caution. By some of the wildlife, yeah. The wildlife, the furnace golem blasted. Okay. Let us go in here. We have a chest. Check the chain. It's facing away, so therefore it's not a mimic. Giant golden arc. It's an chargeable incantation that launches a giant golden arc. Yeah. It is a pretty strong one. It's good against if you have like multiple enemies in front of you, but it does do holy damage, so we'll keep that in our back pocket. Alright. Here we have an altar. If we haven't gotten the stone sword, I think it's the stone sheath sword? Stone sheath sword. If we didn't pick that up back in the Fog Rift catacombs, we could pick it up here. I think for most people, this would have been their first time picking up the stone sheath sword. But since we got in the Fog Rift catacombs, this will change it. To which one? I'm not too sure. I think it's the dark one this will change it to. Yeah. Raise the stone sheath sword to dark? Sure, why not? Sword of Darkness. So now... Sword of Darkness, pulled from a stone scabbard at an altar. From the quick of the roots, wandering coils of darkness coalesce and release, their eddies and vortices giving form to the dark blade. Oh yeah. It is a faith weapon, well, kind of faith, but physical and holy. And its skill, Darkness. Raise the sword aloft to cleave surroundings with darkness. Reduce holy damage and temporarily reduce holy damage negation. And I believe the negation decrease is a 20% decrease on enemies. Yeah. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. You might give it a try. So go over here, hit weapon skill. Pretty long animation, but it does sweep around you, so it might have uses. And any enemies hit, you know, take. It does have its uses. Well, the only downside is that you stay in place for the full duration. You don't move. You can't move. So just be mindful of when you use it. I think that's everything in this little area. Okay. Furnace golem's down. Let's put back on our Sword of Knights. Let's get going. Okay, so there were 2 furnace golems in this little area. Definitely recommend taking care of the one out here first before you take on that guy. Just in case you don't accidentally aggro them both. In which case you're going to have a really, really hard time. It did give you a good amount of space to fight. Flowers. Grace. We'll rest that grace just to get our flask back. Right, so that one little zone was like 30 minutes. Wow. Those furnace golems are no pushover, that's for sure. Now we're just riding along the cliff. Just be mindful of gaps, like this one. And this one. Just be mindful of the man flies. Close enough. Yes, good. Item. Bones. That one will spit poison at you, so just take it out quickly. So we see some slimes down below, which we have no reason to fight. They're the grave birds. There's 3 right here, and they're all facing the direction you come in, so pretty hard to avoid them. Bonnie Village should be right above us. There's that little island between the bridges that has the Potentate Shack, I think it's called. A whipping hut. Yep, it's a whipping hut. No pizza for you. Oh, I thought there was another one in here. Okay. Mold, sure. Got some Mirandas. I think there's some coffins back there. Yeah, I think right. I see them. I just barely see them. I think there's a shadow fragment back there as well. A shadow tree fragment. As I remember that one, because that one's the one that took me the longest to find. I ended up having to look up where it was. It's like I needed one more to get to 20, and I was like, where is it? No, I think they're too far. Thought about trying to hit them from here, but no, I think they're too far. Let's deal with the fly people as they come. Are you gonna spit? No, I don't think so. Ah, I got stuck. Right. Keep getting stuck. Okay, this might not be the best place to use the thorns. Two threes. We'll take them. I don't think there's any more. I don't think there's any more hidden bell bearings. Not that I can recall. Let's see. Go over here. Drop down here. Get jump scared by a fly. Oh, there is one. Okay. So that goes all the way down. Ooh, damn. If I shoot it, will it go away? I don't want to try it. And it goes all the way down there. When I'm ready to go down there, I'll shoot it. But there. I was wrong. There is at least one more hidden bell bearing in a pot. So I think it has the fly mold one in it. No, I think I got that one. Don't need a rest. We'll just activate it. that way will lead you to the fly village that's nestled in this little crevice here. So what we're actually going to do is kind of backtrack a bit and go this way. Yeah, so when we're ready to head down there, we'll shoot that down. I don't want to accidentally lose it. It goes all the way down there. I think she's over there. I don't know. Oh, there's a cave somewhere along these cliffs. Or is it down there? It might be down there. Okay, Almighty Lock On says there's nothing here. Here, get a nice little view. Yep, there they are. Or at least one of them. Yep, there's a hippo. There should be another one down there somewhere. It might be more to, might be on the other side of this little rock face, but. Yeah. There's the nameless mausoleum with Rakshasa in it. Hopefully to do that this episode. Hoping to do the hippos as well. It's taking quite a while. Fly mold, lovely. Alright. Let's go ahead and change up our weapon. I still had this on? Wow. Alright. Are you gonna get 2 tapped or are you gonna get 3? We'll try 3. Okay, that was a lot of damage. So you got 2 tapped. It's gonna be a cakewalk. Yeah. I love the Halo Scythe. It's so good. Especially if you're going to do a Faith build. Faith decks like I am. It's, oof. Really strong. Alright. Don't think they were guarding anything, just the way down. There might be a larval tier that spawns here at night, but I'll check later. Right. I shall find my center under the cascading waters. Shall find my center under the cascading waters. Okay. Item. Okay, so we're actually ready to go all the way down, so let's go knock that bell bearing down. We should be able to pick it up. fall, my pretty? Okay. Trees out of the way. Thank you. Alright. Let's just drop down. Dry leaf seal. Sacred seal of the spiritual seekers known as the Dryleaf Sect. Enhanced incantations conjoins ring lights, which conjoin golden rings of light. Basically, the multi-layered rings of light. I think it's the only one that it improves. Those who saw the decline of the Earth Tree and the falling leaves long ago braced themselves for the weakening of order, and embraced a strict faith. And then they made to serve a new god. Okay. I guess the Earth Tree faithfuls' faiths weakened, and they found a new order with Mikola. Okay, we weren't quite ready to grab that item. Gotta go this way. It shouldn't be anything too dangerous. Yeah, a bunch of slimes. The only dangerous thing down here would have been those giant Miranda sprouts. Right back here. Yeah, we'll keep it. No, we'll put on our crusade. One taps as long as you're not aware. Cool. Yeah, uncharged, good. Just checking what's between here, if anything. I don't think there's just anything over here. Not until we get back here, all the way back here. Standard Miranda drops. This should be a smithing stone. Somber sevens. And here's a coffin. I'm pretty sure this is the shadow tree fragments. There it is, shadow tree fragments. This one I remember because it took me a while to find, so. You should remember the ones that, were the hardest to find. The ones that are easy, I kind of forget for some reason. Clear out this little zone. Free money is free. Ignore these guys. Alright, so we gotta be a little careful not to immediately jump off the waterfall. There we go. Down. There's a scarab. We'll come for you in a moment. Item? Bone shard. He said we'll find a center underneath the water, cascading water. Dryleaf robe, wraps and boots. So now if we want, we can imitate Dryleaf Dane. This is also a good farming spot to get the round rocks for your hefty pots. Moldmonger's Spellbearing. Screw it. Flash shard. Anyway. Let's go back this way. Moldmonger's Bell Bearing, I think, gives us the fly mold crafting material. And he dropped our Somber 8s. Nice. Continue this way. Alright, looks like the last thing we're probably going to be doing is Roxasha. This went on a bit longer. It took me a bit longer to fight those furnace golems than I thought. Well, if we didn't miss that one hefty pot throw, we would have gotten it sooner, but oh well. Checking to see if there's anything over here. I don't think so, but yeah. There's a good look at Hippo. Hippo. Hopefully he shouldn't be too much of a problem, but alright, Roxasha. Summoning pool and Stake of America. Alright, let's get this. Eastern Nameless Mausoleum. Alright, let's get our get up. We are going to try and parry her. It is a she. This is Roxasha. Do we want the Blade of Mercy? I mean, trying to think. If we parry in quick succession, it'll work, but I don't know if we will be able to parry in quick succession for it to work. Why not? And then she does mainly physical damage, so that should be good. We could use the Crimson Assassin Dagger instead, but yeah, we'll give that a go. We're gonna put on our Misericord, because this should do a ton of damage with this get up. Not gonna need that. Trying to think what I want to use. Fire coils. I don't think we can summon here. Alright. Alright. I think we should good. Okay. So yeah, Rakshasa. Pretty dangerous NPC. Her armor set increases damage she deals, but also increases the damage she takes. But in the grand scheme of things, that's kind of negligible. The real trick to this fight is her weapon. Yeah, I can't quite remember what it's called, but it's a pretty unique weapon. In fact, it's one of its special properties is that in addition to the standard poise you get from swinging giant weapons, because her weapon is a great katana, so when she swings, she'll get a boost to her poise. So it'll be harder to knock her out of attacks. But her katana is special in that it boosts whatever poise she gains from attacking, making it even harder to knock her out of her attack animations. So you have to use some of the biggest attacks to really knock her out of animations when she's swinging her weapon. So that's the real trick. Yeah, she also, and because she's using a great katana, so some of her attacks can roll catch you pretty easily. In fact, one of her running attacks, if you're unlucky enough, she'll run she'll sprint, she'll do the attack, and the attack animation carries her momentum past you, but you'll still get clipped by the backswing. So, yeah, it's happened to me once before. She'll like run past me, but still hit me with the tip of the blade as she swings through. But hopefully we shouldn't have to deal with that. In fact, the plan is to take advantage of her AI, because she'll like to do her Ash of War. And her Ash of War is kind of like this, I think it's the Weed Cutter, it's what it's called. She'll take her katana, do 2 giant sweeps back and forth, and she can follow it up like 2 or 3 times. So we're going to take advantage of that, because you can parry it. It's actually not that hard. The first swing is the slowest. It has a delay to it, so that's the trickiest one. But if you notice it quick enough and you back up, if you get out of range of the first 2 swings, you can step in and then parry the next set pretty easily. So that's the plan. We're going to try and take advantage of that and just parry that. Some of her running attacks, sprinting attacks are also pretty easy to parry, but they have two very different animation timings, so that could throw us off as well. But the main thing is just to try and parry her Ash of War. Yep. Step out on the first swings, step in on the second set. So hopefully we should do this pretty quickly. It all depends on how cooperative she is. I'll probably start off trying to rod her with Scarlet Aeonia. Hopefully that should move this fight along. But all right, enough diddle-daddling. Let's get this show on the road. So, drink, bow, crab. All right, let's not embarrass ourselves. Yeah, that's her Weed Cutter. I missed the timing. Yeah, that fight was gonna be like that. Yeah, I kind of figured. Once we started off poorly, it was downhill from there. I knew it from the start, but Scarlet Aeonia from the start, not a bad idea. We just got unlucky in her attack choice, I should say. So that's kind of what this fight is going to come down to, is how cooperative she's going to be. So, all right, round 2. All right, let's try that again. Yeah, we'll go with the Ionia. Yeah, probably should have foregone the Ionia from the start. You're gonna heal. Take advantage of her second swing. There's her weapon's effect in action. Alright, sit down, son. Or girl. Enemy felled. Rakshasha's great katana and armor set. Okay, yeah, the second time went so much better. Okay. Yeah. Our first attempt, I knew it was going to be bad from the start. Usually with NPC fights, if you start off on the wrong foot like I did, it's just downhill. It's just downhill. It's like, well, I could have recovered, but I kind of caved to the pressure a little bit. But anyway. But we came back stronger than ever and just put her in her place. So yeah, probably shouldn't have started off with the Ionia, but it was a good idea. We did get it off. We did rot her. We just got unlucky with her attack decision. Yeah, I think she started off with her Weed Cutter Ash of War the first go around, which was definitely not a good thing, but I deserved it. What can I say? But we came back and we just beat her down. But yes, I did demonstrate my strategy pretty, I would say, effectively. You know, her running attacks are probably the easiest to parry. And when she does her Weed Cutter, step out of the first set of swings, step back in for the second set, and you should, yeah. So just take advantage of her decision making at that point. So, yeah. It is. Rakshasha is a she. I'm pretty sure it says here. Berserk weapon and replied with one's furies when attacking the wielder is less likely to stagger from counterattacks, but will also take increased damage. As far as I know, at least I can't really tell in the parameters, but that second part will also take increased damage. It's just kind of there. Every time you attack, I'm trying to try to word it right. I'm pretty sure every time you attack, you actually lose thrust damage, or thrust negation. Your damage negation against thrust or pierce does decrease a little bit every time you attack. If you're quick enough, you can actually see it in the menu here. This might not be good enough. That wasn't quick enough. I can't do it. Nope, okay, never mind. If you're quick enough, you can see it. It probably is better on a slower weapon than a dagger, but your pierce defense does decrease every time you attack, so I think that's kind of what it means. It's kind of there as like a warning. Even though you're not going to get flinched, you're still going to get a ton of damage, or extra damage. But you do get extra poise. Rakshasha demonstrated it for us when we did Scarlet Ionia. It didn't really knock her off her ass. But, so, it is a really strong weapon. It does do bleed. The Ash of War is really strong. or it's pretty strong against groups of enemies, or any enemy that you can easily stagger or flinch anyway. Scales mostly with dex, so it is perfect for us. In fact, I might use it. I'll think about it. And then there's Rakshasha's armor. Helm of Rakshasha, soaked in the spurting blood of her victims. Her victims. That's how I know it's a she. Tatters of rat cloth jut out haphazardly, as if her lust for carnage threatens to break free. Cut down and devour, only those who repeat the cycle without rest can truly subvert the self and become Rakshasha. So I guess Rakshasha wasn't the person, but an entity? A state of being, I guess? Yeah. So, yeah, each armor piece does increase damage dealt by 2%. Yeah, so having all 4 pieces increases your damage by 8% in total. It's additive, not multiplicative. And the increased damage to the wearer, I'm not quite sure where that is. Actually, it is. I think it's another 2% damage negation decrease. But since it's on armor, you take all these values and just minus 2. So you're still getting damage. You're still getting a decent negation from the armor, but it's just 2% less. So it's, as far as I can tell, there's no real downside to wearing the armor. But yeah, we'll throw it on event. We'll probably throw it on next episode. It looks pretty cool in my opinion. Yeah, all right. Yep, and with that, I'll call it an episode. Yeah, just started making our way down to the Abyssal Woods. Yeah. 2 Furnace Golems. We got the Sword of Darkness from the Stone Sheath Sword, which I think at this point we can no longer have again. I'm pretty sure it's forever gone. You can either have Sword of Darkness or its counterpart, the Sword of Lights. So we won't be able to get the Stone Sheath Sword again until I think at least in a new game cycle. So I know it's pretty sad, but Stone Sheath Sword is not very good anyway. First Golem, sword, bunch of manflies, another hidden bell bearing in a pot. I thought we got them all, but I guess not. Found another Shadow Tree fragment, fought some Mirandas, Greybirds. Then we made it here to Eastern Mausoleum? Yep, Eastern Nameless Mausoleum, where we had to take on Rakshasha twice. First time it was because of me. I goofed up, or got unlucky, I would say, and kind of crumbled. But the second time went far better. So, yeah, I kind of figured that might happen. It was all dependent on what Rakshasha was going to do, really. But, yep, so we got her armor set, her weapon. We also picked up the rest of the dry leaf armor back out there by a waterfall. Unfaded, lightly soiled travel attire worn by clergymen. Found under the breast belongs to a group of spirit seekers known as the Dryleaf Sect. The sect rejects dependence on others and all manner of faith, seeking self-discipline and self-sufficiently above all else. And that was it. So next episode, we'll continue our trek down. We'll probably go back to this grace and then go down this way into the Fly Village. No. We'll go back here, but we'll make our way down here to where the 2 hippos are. We'll take care of them first next episode. And then we'll go back to this grace, and then we'll continue along the cliff. There's a Fly Village in here. There's another Cursed Blade in here as well, so just be careful. And then we'll continue down. There's like a little path along this cliff here that'll take us to this plateau area, where we'll find the entrance to the Dark Light Catacombs. And And then from there, we'll spit us out into the abyssal woods. Oh boy. Oh boy. So that's the next episode. That's the plan for at least the next episode. Darklight Catacombs is probably going to be its own little episode just because of how big it is, and I plan to get all the nooks and crannies. So, and then after that, I'm not quite sure where we're going to go. Because we either can continue on to the Abyssal Woods, to Mytyr's Manse, or we can backtrack to the Jagged Peak and go up to fight Bale. So we're getting close to the end. We have 4 major zones left. The Abyssal Woods down here with Metyr, the Jagged Peak over here with Bale. We have the Rao Ruins with Ramina, and then we have Inner Ilum. Yep. And then Mr. Radon. Yep, Radon. Yep. Hopefully it shouldn't be too much longer, but anyway, that's all for another episode, and I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.